the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, I greet you from the Chapel of the Transfiguration, a place of worship in the Grand Teton National Park. I find myself on the land where the Shoshone, the Bannock, the Blackfoot, the Crow, the Flathead, the Anihi, Gros Ventre, and the Nez Perce peoples roamed in a space of reflection and listening. Gratitude to the rector, Jimmy Bott, and the people of St. John's in Jackson in the Diocese of Wyoming. Gratitude to Bishop Paul Gordon Chandler that I can serve and bring a word from the Lord this July in this space of inspiration. Blessings to you, deputies. My heart swells with a reverence for this spiritual home as I sit amongst the majestic grandeur of the towering Tetons. Themes like love and faith and returning home stir within me as awareness grows. We sense a cry, I think, sometimes, a longing for a regeneration and gladness, especially when I read Psalm 80, verse 6, will you not revive us again so that your people may rejoice in you? It is an echo of desire to go back home in our hearts, and throughout the Episcopal Youth Event, that theme, that wonderful theme, regreso a casa, resonates. My prayer is that home is much more than a physical location, perhaps a condition of the spiritual journey, a longing to be in union with God's great love. Even though earthquakes and storms have shaken their foundation, the Teton Range continues in resiliency, and they stand solid. May we also experience this steadfastness, this solid ground like the Tetons, when we experience storms like dread, doubt, loneliness, injustice, and a sense of being lost. Keep in mind the reassuring words of Psalm 80, verse 6, when facing life's challenges, we are not alone, for God revives and restores. Look how majestic the Teton welcomes each new dawn. We are invited to herald in a new age of faith and serve as a shining example of God's love in our world. This is a reminder that Jesus gives us this new mandate in John 13, verses 34 to 35, to love one another. This is a wonderful, practical statement of faith rather than just an emotional mood. The recent Love Festival, I think, is an illustration of this. It affirms our shared humanity, calls us to practice compassion, and encourages us to think of one another as God's beloved. As a result, I think we are refreshed and prepared to travel into the world and spread God's love. The warmth and light that the sun provides as it beams on the mountains, the same is true of how God's love transforms our hearts. Love is a tremendous power that unites us all. By sharing God's love with others, I believe we are pointing them in the direction of a loving connection with God, the source of all joy and love, rather than a specific location. We are revived so we can continue to win our neighbors for God. So let us strive to have a strong faith and be like these mountains. Let's soar high on the winds of God's love like the great eagle. Let's return joyfully home to the love that rekindles our sense of health and vitality. By loving one another, Deputies, let's demonstrate to the world what this new era of faith perhaps looks like. By this shall all know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another. By this shall all know that you are my disciples, if you have love one for another. By this shall all know that you are my disciples, if you have love one for another. Hambani kakutle, go well, deputies.